Thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Keeping It Real with America's Supermom. I'm excited to have my next guest. I have Connie Alsobrook here. We actually met, I don't know, it's been some years, okay? I
Yeah.
was just scrolling through some pictures and we met Eddie Grant together
Mhm.
at the library that time, met the mayor of Stonecrest,
Mhm.
so it's just been so many things that we connected through my husband who knew the judge. I think that's how we met. We actually met
Mhm.
at a dinner
Yes.
party. So
Mhm.
it's been a long time, girl. Been a long
Wow.
time. So I'm excited to have you here today. So before we get into catching up and everything that we got going on, I want to give you the opportunity to say a few words about yourself for everybody.
Okay. Okay. Again, my name is Connie Alsobrook. I am currently the city council member in Conyers, Georgia, and Lachelle actually helped me with my campaign when we started. So that's another good thing that we did together. But
Mhm.
today I want to talk about my book. I don't know if you knew I had this
Mm.
book, 10
No.
Parenting. Yes. I wrote that in the middle of COVID because I did a coaching certification. And I kept saying, wow, what should I coach about? And I thought about youth. And then also came the step parenting. So, yes, that's what I want to talk about.
Awesome. So I'm loving that. I wrote a book as well during the pandemic. I was a part of three of them total. But so I love the fact of taking that plunge in the
Mhm,
midst of even a pandemic and doing what you feel called to do. So for
mhm,
people that are watching, you're doing this thing with city council, and then you
mhm,
have your own life, your business, and you
mhm.
want to write a book. So how did you get to the point to where you were able to just take the plunge and do it?
When you already have the information in you, it's kind of easy to just to pour it out. It's the time
Mhm.
management that we have to do, and a lot of people didn't take advantage of that time management. I just jotted things down. I said, okay, well, what do I want to write about in reference to step parenting? And I said,
Mhm.
let's do some tips because tips are easy and they're the
Mm.
1, 2, 3s. And so you say tip one, I want this, that, and the other. Tip two, and you write it down. You got to format it, you got to edit it, you got to do the graphics, da da da. But if you do the time management, say today I'm going to do this, tomorrow
Mhm.
I'm going to do this, or this week I'm going to do this, it's easier than to think about the whole overall. Oh, I got to write this book. Then it seems like a lot.
Yeah. Now, I'm a step parent as well. I have two stepchildren on top of our 13. So, how did you stop at 10? Because I'm like, look, I could think of 1,000. Okay. What
Well,
made it where you were clear that these are good starts? How did you come up with that number?
Well, it's not. It is a start. So 10 is just a good round number. I could have did 5 steps or
Hmm.
10 or 20, but I stopped at 10. I thought 10 was a good little. It was supposed to be an ebook, so that was
Hmm.
part of the reason why I stopped at 10. But I said let's just push all the way forward and do a full book, and so that's why I did the 10 steps.
I
Just
love
please.
that. I love
Now
that.
I'm not a
Okay.
step parent. I'm not a step parent, Michelle. I'm a
Mm.
stepchild. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I love that. Now,
Hmm.
so when well, that's easy. So you're coming from the perspective of being a child,
Yes.
what you were thinking and how you could give that advice to. That's awesome.
Yes. Yes. Because of course you really shouldn't judge yourself, and most people
Right?
are not going to say I suck as a step parent. So
Hmm.
if you take the child's perspective and say, I wish my stepmom had did this different, or she should have did that, because as a stepchild, you're not thinking as an adult. You're a child. You're going to think of immature things. You're going to be like, oh, she's doing that because she don't like me. But that's not always the case. So as a step parent, if you explain this way in this way, then the child can better understand why you're doing what you're doing.
I love that because see, I had a stepfather. who
Okay.
raised me. My dad died when I was young, and there
Okay.
were things because I had that experience that I
Hmm.
just kind of remembered when I was a step parent. So I love that you bring that up because I didn't even think to write about that perspective. You know, I
Hmm.
was always writing, thinking from my own voice in terms of
Right.
being in that position. But I think there was a lot of intuition, a lot of things that I did that had I not had that insight to understand, you
Hmm.
know, the times that I would take trips to go pick them up, if my husband couldn't, and I had to interact with the mom, I don't know if I would have embraced that as well
Oh,
as I did if I didn't have that experience of understanding, um,
right.
what role that was in terms of the child's development from that standpoint point.
Okay. Right. I
Mhm.
get. On Facebook today, I was going. You know how you go through Facebook and you see all
Mhm.
these. You just read and you keep going. Well, a guy brought up. He said he saw a life coach talk about he would never date a woman that had kids outside of wedlock. And I said,
Mm.
wow, he said, because men don't want to raise another man's child. And I
Mhm.
said, how selfish is that? Because a lot of women are not single because they had a child out of wedlock. Some of
Mhm.
the fathers died. I have a best friend where her dad died, the child dad died right when he went to military, and the child wasn't even one yet.
Mhm.
So she's little, but she's a single mom.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
guys don't go that detail to asking you, why are you single mom? They just assume that you were
Mhm.
never married. Yeah.
Yeah, so true. And I mean, we learn so much about ourselves when we have some of these conversations, because
Mhm.
we don't think about, looking at it from another angle.
Right.
Sometimes we don't even think another angle exists, because
Hmm.
we're so stuck on our own story. So I love
Yeah.
that you brought that up. So talk to us about, being in the position you are with city council during COVID. I mean, we know that that's challenging under normal circumstances, but what have you learned about yourself, or how have you grown with having such a position during a pandemic?
Well, it hit me so hard, and I told you it was God that called me to be into this position. Is no doubt about it. I don't go if, maybe, I think, I know that He put me here. Soon as we got into office, COVID. And the first thing was we had to decide on if we were going to shut down the city.
Mhm.
And my first instinct was, yes, we got something going on here. We need to shut it down.
Mhm.
But we had someone else on the council that said they didn't want to because they didn't want to shut down the churches. And
Mhm.
it wasn't that we were shutting down the churches, we were just shutting down everything. And
Mhm.
she was strong in that, and I was strong in my belief. And I said, well, God knows it's not about me not wanting you to go to church. It's
Mhm.
about the safety. And
Mhm.
so I chose to vote for the shutdown, which it passed. It's been a lot of hard decisions on the council, and a lot of those decisions I've been standing alone. That's that's the most difficult thing that I've been going through. But with God, it's okay. If that's
Mhm.
what I know He put in my heart to do, then I'm okay with it. But it had been a challenge. I'm like, God, every time it's only me voting opposing something. But then after, when I get more facts, it's always the right decision.
Wow.
So it's been difficult with COVID, and
Mhm.
considering this is my first term. I hadn't been in this position before, so these decisions, I'm going like, oh my gosh. And now it's almost like, soon as they put something on the floor, it's like everybody looks down at me because they know. she gonna oppose this, and you usually it is. But I
Mhm.
have to go with what the people say, because they're the ones that put me there in God. So
I love
it has
that.
been a challenge, and people come at you with different things. Connie, there's underwear in the street. What can you do about that? I
Yeah.
have a domestic violence case against me. Can you help me? I just got a DUI. What can you do about that? There's a homeless lady that's by Publix. Can you? All of these is different, and people don't understand. As city council, I'm a policymaker. I set the rules for the city, not
Mm.
so much code enforcement. I'm calling about the lights out in the street. So it's so much. And
Mhm.
I'm sorry, because again, those are individual jobs that people have within the city. They're staff. So I have to do code enforcement, transportation, planning and development, zoning, and I'm on the phone with City Hall all day. They said, Connie, you can just direct them to us. I said, no. They call me, so I'm calling you. You give me the information, I call you back. It's a
I
lot.
love it.
Yes.
Yeah. Now that is actually going the extra mile. So talk to us about that because so often you have people that you can just refer it to somebody. Like what you
Mhm.
said, you had this conversation and you could just say, "Hey, I got them in front of the right people, gave them their number." Why is it the need to feel like you have to call them back? Explain that, because I think a lot of people, I don't know, I think it's a different generation myself.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
don't have that type of mindset
Yeah.
for a lot of
Yeah.
people. So explain, what that means to you, why that's important.
They called me. They didn't call City Hall. And if they have my cell phone number, I gave it to them. So
Mm.
I give out my number all the time because I do want people to contact me, because people don't have that. They think City Hall politicians are unreachable. And so when they call me, I want to chop down that perception. I want them to know, you call me, you need something, I'm going to do what I can. So I want them to have a different thought process about politicians, because we're not all the same. We're different. We're just individual people in the same position, but we're not the same person. So that's one of the reasons why I do it. And I want someone to do it for me. I don't want to get passed on to someone else that's not maybe going to give you the runaround. Because when I call City Hall and say, hey, I need to know X, Y, and Z, they're going to give me the answer,
Mhm.
because they know I know the process. But someone else, they may put them off. So I kind of like that. It's
I and
it's
I
challenging, but I like it.
Yes, and I love that because that is really the ability to understand the leverage that you have with your position. As a leader, you
Mhm.
may have someone's attention that somebody else might not have access to, and using that opportunity to help someone else. I mean, to me, I think that's exactly what a leader is about. So I just want to commend you for that. And also the relationship building, because the fact that you're even building a relationship with the people that you're inquiring
Mhm.
about this question, that stands out. So all the way around, I think it's commendable. So for somebody who has never run for government, but they just kind of have the urge or feel like they want to make a difference, what advice would you give them about running for the first time?
Whew. Talk to God. Because people think they want to run,
Mhm.
but it's a lot. And if you do not have God and you're not seeking and searching God,
Mhm.
you're not going to be able to handle it. And if you do handle it, you're going to go down the wrong road, because you're
Mhm.
going to get too frustrated with always being the outsider. So if you want to do it right, you are going to be an outsider and you got to talk to God, because if you do not, you're going to have some depressed moments. You probably be hitting that bottle, all of that. So you got to talk to God. But after you do that, and He says yes, go ahead and run. You
I
need to
love
go and research what you're getting yourself into, because it's a lot that you don't know. And you
that.
have to be somewhat savvy. That goes back to God, because
Mhm.
He's going to give you that discernment. A lot of times I don't understand things when I'm reading it, when it comes before me, when we get the agenda. But when I say,
Mhm.
God, I don't understand this. I need you to help me. Guess what? This happened the last meeting, and I asked God to help me. Somebody text me, Connie, we got this coming up, da da da. I need you to. I said, can you pass me that gentleman's phone number? Because I think I had it, but he didn't answer the phone. He
Mm.
explained everything to me, just like that, asking God for that guidance. This was 2 hours before my meeting. 2 hours before my meeting. And when I say, God, I need you to help me because I do not understand this,
Mhm.
immediately I got that answer. And I
I
was
love.
able to advocate for this man when he came before us, that they said come back and apply for the zoning, because what they were doing was they were trying to put the zoning in with saying he wanted a car wash. I said he doesn't want a car wash. He wants his zoning back to what he had it before he was annexed into the city. So let's do something different. Can he come back, reapply for the zoning instead of the car wash the way you guys have it? And that's what happened.
Mm.
So you got to do some research. You may
Mm.
want to run for a change, but this is not for the faint. And only 2% of the world population runs for office. And there's a reason for that. Because it's a lot. On the outside, it looks all glam and glitz. Oh, you politician. Sometimes I'm ashamed. I don't even want to tell people that I'm a politician. I'm like, yes, I am. That's my arena. But
Mhm.
it's not what you think. You only know once you get in there.
I'm like,
Hi. Once
that was
you get,
Mackenzie.
oh, once you get in there, you're like, wow, this is not what I expected. But
Mhm.
it's okay, because again, God put me here. I wouldn't have chose this, because I said,
Right.
God, I don't like speaking in public. I don't like taking pictures, and I don't like the limelight. So I know this got to be you.
Amen.
One of the things I didn't want to do, He put me in a position where this is what you're gonna have to do in this position.
Mhm.
I answered the
I
call.
I love that. And, just keeps coming back to you establishing relationships. Just like you said, that 2 hours before your meeting, really being able to be happy with who you are and extending that knowledge, information, asking the questions, seeking things out for yourself. I just think that's wonderful. I mean, that just is definitely a great character trait to have, because so often we can succumb to the pedestal that a lot of people put us on. But at the end of the day, if you have to be the one that's held accountable for whatever decision, you want to be aware of what it is you're deciding and why, and understanding how that fits in with your core values. So I love that you um, live your life that way, because I think that's commendable. A lot of people don't take time to ask, they don't take time to research,
Mhm,
they just, wing it, you know, do like
mhm,
multiple, I mean, just take a chance and do whatever. So I
mhm,
think that's really great. So, in terms of, writing a book, being on council, what has this helped you with in terms of like your own business, and things that you're doing, that are beyond being a city council? Um, how has this
mm.
all kind of helped you?
Repeat that again, Michelle. You lost me.
I'm saying you've got so many different things that you're involved in, from your book to city council. How has this helped your personal business? And, what have you learned about that, whether it's time management or other things that have helped you to kind of keep it together, especially during a pandemic?
Well, I've learned that I cannot do everything.
Mm,
And this has been recently. I cannot do everything and I cannot help everyone. So I had to
mm,
ask God to help me decipher who to help
mm,
and what business I need to focus on. And it keeps
mm,
coming back to youth. And so
mm,
that's something I'm definitely working on, to
mhm,
continuously help the youth in any way I can. And that can be from my book, The Step Parenting Tools. It's not so much for the parents, more so than it is for the kids. Because
mm,
I want to teach them how their parents are probably, they don't know. This is not something that they just said, okay, I know how to be a step parent. They don't know. They need to be taught, and the children need a better understanding of what's going on. So it all goes back to the kids, because they're the ones that's going to have to deal with this in the future. And for everyone, they don't get a good step parent,
mhm,
unfortunately. And for whatever
mhm,
reason, and someone said, they said, is it possible for someone to love another person's child? That's not, and
right.
I said, it is possible. People love their pets as their own, like it's their children. So why not another human being? You can do it. Again, it goes back to God.
Mhm,
If you have that love within that God gives you, you can get it. But if you don't
mhm,
want to give, then of course you can't give it. So people do need to look within themselves and say, why can't I love this child? Is something wrong with you? It's not something wrong with the child.
right.
So, so I have learned to, I can't do everything, because I
Mhm,
still have a photography business. I still have my magazine.
mhm,
And my grandson. Um, my daughter has a catering business that sometimes I help her with that as well. So it's so many things. And I said, wait, I can't. I'm cooking for this person. I'm taking food to somebody that's sick with cold. It's like you 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 can't
mhm.
can't do everything. You only have so much time in the day. And
Yeah,
I was burning myself out. To one point, Lachelle, I was in depression mode.
yeah.
It was, how you get in the bed and you can't get out?
Mhm.
That was me for 2 weeks. And I woke up and I said, wait a minute. I said, I think I've been depressed for the last 2 weeks. You the blinds closed and all that. I got
Been
on the
there, girl. Been there. Okay. So
phone.
I definitely understand that.
Yeah, and I never let myself get in there. Sometimes, you can feel it coming and you
Mhm,
can stop yourself from getting in there. But
mhm.
this time, I just I went down there,
Yeah,
and yeah. So I don't want that, because I can't help anyone in that predicament. I woke up and I called my first lady. I said, "Hey, I think I've been depressed for the last 2 weeks. Yeah, I've been getting things done, but it's how I felt when I was doing it.
yeah.
It was animosity. Like, I don't want to do
Mhm.
this. And I don't want to ever do anything with animosity. I want to do it because I want to do
I totally get that. Yeah,
it."
and so that resonates so well, but and there's a lot of people I'm sure that are like that. So
Mhm.
now, looking back, what are some things that you do in your daily routine to kind of protect that? What are some books you've read or podcasts? Anything that kind of be like some quick set of tools for people that might be watching.
Well, I still read my Bible every morning before I roll out of bed. That's the first thing I do. Some scriptures, a daily plan, anything.
Mhm.
Go outside, take a walk, have my favorite food, some ice cream, just little things. Watch some other thing, watch some funny on TV, say The Golden Girls or Good Times, which is my favorite, Sanford and Son, to get that laughter going because that's that positive energy that you need. So yeah,
Mhm.
I do little things like that. And you can just think about maybe a trip that you took years ago,
Mhm.
your favorite trip, because nobody, I'm not tripping right now. Hey, yeah,
We
that's
lucky to go to the store, girl. I feel you. Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So just little things, your favorite things to do, and
Mhm.
like I said, just walking outside and getting that fresh air and that sun, it does wonders.
Mhm.
It really does. I just stand outside sometimes, walk to the mailbox or walk around my
Mhm.
cul-de-sac, something like that. But yeah, little simple things. It doesn't have to be anything deep because you don't want to go to the store and get in a fight with somebody because you're trying to get something out of there because you upset and all of that. Just go outside,
Mhm.
hopefully you got a little snack in the house you can nibble on to make yourself feel a little better. Some
Mhm.
tea helps as well,
Mhm.
to calm them down. So just little things that I do
Love
now.
that. Yeah,
And I
that's
don't
great.
a lot. I put things on my billboard. I wake up in the morning, I look over at it, and I say, okay, this is what I need to do today. And I map
Mhm.
out, okay, I need to do X, Y, and Z. I don't push myself. The world is not going to end if I don't get it done. I'm not
Mm.
I'm not doing no heart transplants, so it's gonna be okay.
Yeah. I love that. That's good. So this has just been great. I am so glad that we've gotten able to connect and catch up. What is the best way for the audience to get a hold of you?
Email me
Mhm.
my first and last name, Connie Alsobrook at gmail.com.
Awesome. And then what final words would you want to share with everybody today?
Well, I don't know, Michelle. I mean,
Any kind of insight? I don't know. I mean, just key to success, what you think that is, or,
you know,
managing business and government. I don't know.
that's a lot. Key to success because that's definition can be anything.
Right.
Success. I guess I don't want to answer that one. If you want to run for government, do your homework.
Hmm.
Do your homework. You
Hmm.
may find it's not what you want to do, and you may not be strong enough to do it.
Definitely. I think that's great advice. I mean, I think, we glamorize a lot of these things and people, they really don't know what they're up against. So I appreciate your transparency because these are the type of conversations that a lot of people may want to have, but they're afraid to have.
Mhm.
Whether they're in that position of authority and afraid to let people know the real story, where you feel like it's all about having that perfect answer to everything. So I appreciate your transparency because I think that's the only thing that really can inspire people. It's not always having the perfect answer because nobody really can relate to perfection. We talk
Right.
about we want it, but if we don't experience that every day, it's really
Mhm.
kind of foreign to us. The only thing that we really can connect with is the imperfection because we resonate with that. You can have
Yeah.
so many imperfect experiences in a day,
Mhm.
in an hour, girl. Okay,
Yes.
depending
Yeah.
on where you're at.
Mhm.
So that's what gives people the hope to say, wow, they're just like me and they can run for
Mhm.
office, so I can too. So I
Right.
appreciate that.
Mhm.
So we thank you so much for your time and
You're
want to
welcome.
wish you so much luck still with the leadership role that you have. And it's just an inspiration for other women, especially.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. Well, we want to thank everybody for watching today. If you have any questions for Connie, reach out to her, Connie Alsobrook at gmail.com. If you have any questions that you want to put in the comments, feel free to do that. And we will make sure that she gets those so that she can help you be a better version of yourself. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you all on the next episode. Bye for now.